What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader, also known as John, coming back to you with another figure review. And I can actually be loud in this video, unlike in my last video of Captain Poe Dameron. I get up really, really early in the morning, folks, like 3:30 or 4, and get some work done before the family wakes up. And sometimes I don't feel like working. Sometimes I just feel like talking about little plastic action figures. And now I've got some caffeine in me, and I'm ready to go, ready to rock for the day. And here is another video for you. I thought we'd take a look at the Cobra Arctic Transport Officer, and he is the Ice Viper Officer. This was a G.I. Joe figure subscription service exclusive earlier this year, and I had him recently graded by Action Figure Authority, and it's a nice figure. For those of you unfamiliar with the Ice Vipers, this was a pack-in driver for the 1987 Cobra Wolf, which was like a small, very versatile Arctic assault vehicle that had skis as wheels up front, and then in the back it had kind of like tank treads with some torpedo, or not torpedo, but like, you know, missile-like projectiles that were on skis that could fire off. And included with that vehicle was the driver, the Ice Viper. And it's a very, very similar looking figure to the one you see in front of you. This one is supposed to be the Ice Viper officer, so I guess like a commanding officer for the Ice Vipers. And it's a nice homage to that 1987 figure. That figure, like I said, was included as a pack-in 1987. The Ice Viper and Cobra Wolf were sold in stores in 1987 and into 1988. It was discontinued in 1989. And they had Hasbro had some overstock Ice Viper figures that they then packaged in sealed baggies and gave away or sold at conventions, JoeCon conventions, and I believe that was in 1993. And it's a very, very similar looking figure to the one you see here with some color differences, but this one is overall a nice figure. There's a couple of complaints I have about it that I'll talk to you about, but let's take a closer look at him. So here he is, the Cobra Arctic Transport Officer. You can see the artwork there, very cool. He's got that fluffy, dead fox-looking fur collar, and he's got his assault rifle in his hands. The Cobra logo is right there. The original Ice Vipers also had the Cobra logo right there with the same white. They did, instead of having the blue face mask, ski mask, and then the blue ammo pouches across the chest, those were in red for that figure. And you can see the actual figure here. He comes with a nice old school 1980s phone. And I've looked at this thing left and right. I cannot figure out what this little black accessory is. The goggles are one of my complaints. They're a little bit too big, I feel like, for the figure. I almost rather would have had them molded onto the helmet, but because it just looks like they're a little too big for the figure. My other big complaint for this figure is this fur collar. While nicely molded and textured, I feel like it either needs some color, color accents, some highlights, maybe some light yellow or even silver highlights, just to kind of make it a little bit more textured. But the actual mold itself is not bad, but I'm not a big fan of just the plain brown. You can see the logo there, the ammo pouches. The original Ice Viper did also have this kind of two-piece belt that you can kind of see. It's got a gap right there. That's just like the vintage figure. He's got kind of a grayish white camouflage to mix in with the snow. He also does have, which was a nice touch, if you can see there on his holsters and in the artwork, he's got two sais, ninja sais, that are kind of mounted to the side of his legs there. The original Ice Viper came with two silver sais instead of black. He did not come with any other accessories. So that was a nice, I thought, touch to, to make an homage to the 80s figure. But you can see the size kind of mounted to his legs there. And there's the assault rifle, and then the rest of the outfit. So overall, a pretty nice figure. My two big complaints are really just how the fur was done, and then the size of the goggles. I just wish they had been molded onto the helmet instead, because it just looks kind of silly and too big for him. But I cannot figure out what that black piece is there. If I did some research, I could probably find it, but I'm not going to bother. If I had to guess, they look like snowshoes. You could like maybe mount them on his feet. They kind of look like the shape of a foot, and maybe they're kind of like ice snowshoes for walking on ice. You know, having spikes on the bottom of your heel. But that is just my guess. I have no way to verify that. Let's take a look at the back of the card. You can see the artwork itself is similar to the front, just enlarged. And you can see it's a figure subscription service. This came out apparently in February of this year. The FSS 7.0 was this year, and 2 typically means February. So I'm guessing it came out in February. I did buy this. I went back and looked through my sold listings on eBay, and I did buy this one on eBay. So I was confused as to whether I bought this one on eBay or through Big Bad Toy Stores offerings. But the Chaos figure I did buy on eBay. This one I bought on, or excuse me, the Chaos figure I bought at Big Bad Toy Store with their collector upgrade options, and then this one I bought on eBay. So, and there's the file card. His file name, Lucas Hansen. How white and Nordic of your name. His primary military specialty is transportation officer, and his secondary is Arctic warfare. He was originally a member of the Royal Danish Army until he was swayed by Cobra ideology. And they mentioned the Cobra Wolf, as you can see there. Wolf stands for Winter Operational Light Fighting. It is a light assault vehicle. It doesn't have heavy armor. It's really designed for quick hit and run type operations. And so he's kind of in charge of the movement of supplies, equipment, combat teams to all the regional Arctic bases and secret laboratories. So he's an expert at winter driving. And so, you know, he basically oversees all of the ice vipers who drive the wolves. So I thought that was a nice touch to include, to make him available. It seems like with the figure subscription service figures for this year, they went back and trolled through the kind of late 87, 88, 89 archives of the original Hasbro figures and either updated them directly, such as the Vipra, or the Cobra Night Stalker officer, or this one. So, you know, I think as they're getting towards the end of this figure subscription service, as I mentioned, they're either doing away with it at the end of this year or next. I haven't been able to verify that, but everything I've read says they got one more coming. But as they're getting close to the end of the FSS run, you know, they're pulling out some of these figures from the very end of the popularity run of the 80s figures. So anyway, just a nice figure overall, just minor complaints, but I think he presents really well. And silly me, I did not show you guys the AFA grading, so let's do that now. 2018 Hasbro G.I. Joe Club exclusive Ice Viper Officer, and it came back with a 9.0. So another very nice high grade. Most of these, they're going to be very, very difficult to get uncirculated. I have seen a few of them, but pretty rare. As you can see, I've got Skullbuster and Grunt in his tan outfit. Both of those are also, they do not have the uncirculated designation. Most of mine do not. I've got maybe a third of mine that are, but anyway, I just thought I'd take one quick look now that I can yell and scream with nobody in the house. And thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.